Imagine going back, exactly 5.3 million years into the past. The world was completely different then. There were no cities, no roads, no fire, and not even words that resembled a language. There was only nature, raw, merciless, and giving no one a chance to stop and breathe. And this is where the story of humanity begins. Chapter 1. The First Steps of a New Species. 5.3 million years ago, a small group of hominins wandered across the vast savannas of Africa. They were not fully human, nor were they animals in the way we understand them today. But they had one defining trait. They had begun to walk upright. Among all creatures of their time, this made them completely unique. Standing on 2 feet freed their hands, and those hands would one day build civilizations. But not that day. It was far too early. In that era, every single day had only one meaning: survival. Chapter 2. Predators and becoming prey. Death roamed the savannah at night. Hyena packs, saber-toothed cats, giant leopards. They were all strong, they were all fast, and they were all born with better weapons than our ancestors: teeth, claws, muscles. But our ancestors had one advantage: intelligence. At night they climbed higher rocks, slept close to one another, and sharpened their instincts to sense danger. Still, nothing was guaranteed. There wasn't even a language to remember the name of someone who vanished quietly in the night. Yet those small groups did not give up. Chapter 3. The First Sparks of Togetherness. Survival wasn't about being strong alone. It was about acting together. While scavenging leftovers from bigger predators, they warned one another with gestures and alerted each other with sounds when danger approached. These were not words, but the earliest steps toward communication. A group is stronger than an individual, and humanity discovered this truth for the very first time during that era. Chapter 4. Food, Endurance, and Evolution. Finding food. 5.3 million years ago was a matter of luck. Soft roots, wild fruits, insects. Sometimes the carcass of an animal, sometimes nothing at all. This irregular diet made their bodies resilient. They learned to use energy efficiently. They could walk long distances slowly, but with an endurance that never seemed to end. This trait would later become the greatest advantage of the hunter-gatherer. Chapter 5. A Changing World, a Changing Human. As climates shifted, forests shrank and savannas expanded. As the safe branches of trees disappeared, humans were forced to stay on the ground. The ground was more dangerous, but it also offered more opportunities. Hunger, fear, and danger didn't push them back. They pushed them to become more creative. They tracked better. They hid better. They organized better, and slowly, very slowly, the first glimmers of human intelligence began to appear. Chapter 6. The Night Before. Fire. Things that seem ordinary to us today were unimaginable for humans of that era. There was no fire, no weapons, no shelter, but there was hope and persistence. Every child born learned survival a little better. Each generation became smarter, tougher, and more adaptable than the one before. Humanity was still crawling, but within that crawl lay the seeds of every civilization that would one day exist. Conclusion: the beginning of a miracle. Today, we live in a world full of phones, cities, languages, and cultures. But remember, the beginning of all this traces back 5.3 million years to a small group of hominins struggling to survive under the hot African sun. If not for their courage, instincts, and refusal to give up, we wouldn't be here today. This is how humanity began, with a story of fear, endurance, adaptation, and a mind slowly beginning to shine.